Wait, is this a prequel? A prequel? We're going further back in time. They're ending up in the snow mountains. Is this set in the 1940s or 30s? Early days Hollywood movie making, whilst at the same time, they'll end up in the cave that freezes them over at the end before they meet Gru. Is that what's going on here? We're covering the Hitler timeline of the Minions? Surprise, surprise! Illumination has a double bill of movies for us this year. On top of the fact that the Super Mario Galaxy movie is releasing April 1st this year, literally April Fool's Day, 3 months later now, we're getting this. Minions and Monsters. Because they didn't want to admit this is Minions 3, and they're already doing Despicable Me 5. Now, I've been keeping track with all 7 now Despicable Me Minion movies, and I gotta be honest, over the years, my opinion on them is starting to change as they're coming more into form.
You see those large, heavily armed men? They suspect you have...
Also, starting it off strong for the middle-aged mums in the audience with a bunch of big, topless, hunky men. Illumination know what they're doing. The knee-jerk reaction to the idea of yet again another Minions movie is this is going to be a classic, terrible Illuminations pop culture fest of slop chucked out to kids to make the quickest, biggest buck of the year, right? And while there's definitely an argument that that is still the case in places, and with several examples, the first Minions movie was not good, and Despicable Me 4, the latest, it was pretty terrible too in its own way. Ironically, I would make the argument that Despicable Me and Minions as 2 separate franchises are kind of going in opposite directions. With Despicable Me 1 starting with a genuinely great premise and originality that only gets more sloppy and over-encumbered with an ensemble cast as things go on, getting lazier and lazier and crappier. Meanwhile, you have Minions that started off pretty terribly in the depths of Illumination's worst era, and with their latest installment being Minions 2 as a reference for this movie, genuinely, that last example genuinely was not bad. I would even argue it was pretty damn good, in fact. Recontextualizing the Minions premise not just to a side piece to Gru that plays to the lowest common denominator, but genuinely exploring classic cartoon humor in a way you kind of don't see that levels of slapstick in the modern day of movies and animations. And from everything I've seen from this trailer as well, it's looking to be a whole lot more Minions 2 than Minions 1. Nice, yeah. They're just actors, but they're getting real cartoon violence. Love that Hanna-Barbera-esque sound effect in there. It's a joke. Decent. The premise that seems to really send this movie apart is the fact that it is not set in the modern day like Despicable Me 4, and it's not set in the 1960s either like the past Minion movies. Instead, we are prequeling off from our prequel saga and going way back to the old days of Hollywood around the 1920s and 30s. Ooh, yeah, look at this. It's early pre-Hollywood, 1920s maybe, it makes more sense. They want to make monster movies now, randomly. So much for following the most evil thing, and a big general slime glob of minions. Just blur them all together since we already practically do that. It's a blank new slate for Minions to do whatever the hell they want with a whole new fresh cast. And now the Minions just want to find a monster to make a Hollywood film. That's it. That's the core premise. Antics ensue, and honestly, I think I can get behind that. Faintly, but not really, tacking onto the idea that they want to follow an evil person, but it's also just a side quest. They just like Hollywood movies in the moment. It's an excuse to do a bunch of fun things. Okay, and then the Minions go Full Metal Alchemist. Okay. Summoning a monster for... I assume this is a Halloween movie. Is this an October film? Yeah, I'm on board, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have anything to hate. The last film was good. This is looking good so far. It's not a kaiju, it's Cthulhu! Or not, never mind, that's fair too. Ah, sweet. Cthulhu for kids. Much less intimidating. There are still a couple of things that are a bit of a shame. The 3 most prominent characters from the Minion saga, that itself kind of excludes a young Gru, is Kevin, Bob, and Stuart the Minions, and they don't seem to appear in this either. It seems to be before their time. I assumed the Minions were immortal, so I guess either they just haven't established themselves as frontrunners, this is a whole separate side group doing their own thing, or they haven't literally been born yet, which opens so many questions for if and how minions reproduce.
Miso soup, kongomai.
Yeah, no, this isn't Kevin, Stewart, and Bob. I mean, these are just other generic minions, but it reminds me more of the Despicable Me 4 minions that had the superpowers. Remember that? Despicable Me very clearly does the minions badly over time, with an overblown ensemble cast and crappy pop culture trends. Oddly, Minions 2 was just a good dissection of the minions' logic, and very much pulled it back by being set in the past. It's interesting. Instead, the only real name for a minion we get is Chris, being called out because of some toilet humor. But even in the case of the toilet humor, I don't hate it this time. Even the toilet humor has a hint more of a layer to it.
But is...
I distinctively hate toilet humor. I can, I get it with this one. It's still pretty basic, and I've seen it before, but it's going back to classics. It's not the worst thing in the world. Genuinely seeming to try and explore the antics of slapstick cartoony comedy, using minions as the mouthpiece and fist piece to that, I guess. It looks like they take things in a nice chunk of directions. Never before would you expect a summoning scene from the minions, but it's there. And even when they do jump on certain tropes, like introducing an even cuter, cuddlier version of a character, there's a little bit of a spin to him.
Hey, teeny tiny baby, stop!
It's interesting, they've made a minion for the minions. Like, I know Despicable Me likes to add family on top of family. Now we're gonna slowly warble down. That is technically a classic bad sign, like making a fluffy, nice character and giving him an even fluffier, nicer character. But at least this one speaks. It's the reverse. Usually it's the super cute kiddie version that doesn't speak. So far it reminds me of Martin the Martian from Looney Tunes. Hey there! Thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie trailers. And of course, on July 1st, we will be reviewing this movie. And hey, if you like more Minion stuff, we've covered at least 5 or 6 prompts around this saga. And animated spin-off shorts, if you didn't know that was a thing. Or hey, if you'd rather the Mario Galaxy movie, we'll be covering that too. Anyway, no more rambling. Back to the second half of this video.
Just try not to look too delicious.
So the Minions are now the straight men in the dynamics of things. They're just watching, being like, wow, this is weird. That's weird. But I mean, they have made, this is the 7th Minion feature film, so they're gonna have to start playing with the dynamic. I think it could go either way. Yeah, look at that old school camera that the Minion on the right has. This is, oh man, we're actually, I think, yeah, we're in the 30s. I feel like you can tell that this isn't just made quickly and easily for the most basic ideas, and it's certainly a long way away from the AI-generated slop that every other studio is currently considering, with Illumination actually being the first main studio to make a criticism of such AI productions, so you can bet, despite it once being kind of the laughing stock of low quality, the Minion saga of all things is most certain to be built out of real human labor, and worthy of way more praise than maybe we could have said 10, 20 years ago. Wasn't here 20 years ago, but not too far off. Whilst at the same time, there's still a couple of things you can point out as interesting choices. It's more just capitalism, isn't it, really? The only real human-speaking role we see just looks like a rip-off of Mario and Luigi.
And they want you dead.
Alright, we're hopping right into it. I love how that's just Mario in the middle. We really have come full circle. Right after the Mario movie had a lot of Illumination-looking characters and a dog ripped straight out of Secret Life of Pets. Now we have mini Mario, a mix of Mario and Luigi, right in the middle of a Minions movie. It just makes sense, doesn't it?
You wrote a monster movie?
Si, con Pika Kaiju.
Man, they're really making this director like the main human character. Why is he so Mario coded? I feel like this is almost going to be a conspiracy that they're doing this to advertise their other movie. It makes you think of the Mario movie, so it'll make you watch the Mario movie. It's an interesting choice. And it's not the last time they reference another Illumination movie in this one movie micro teaser trailer, as I'm pretty sure the rabbit from Secret Life of Pets also shows up. Oh, alright, now we got another Illumination reference in there. This is just Kevin Hart from Secret Life of Pets. Not allowed rabbits in any other Illumination movie, according to me. Well, I thought it was actually going to start quoting Kevin Hart there, to be honest. A general rule, yeah, I guess that's fine too. Classic in its own way. It's a lot of simple, classic, cartoony gags. But maybe that's fine, you know? Go back to basics and just do them well. That's kind of what Minions 2 did. We don't need to overcomplicate it with 3 daughters, and then also a wife, and then also a child, and then also work, and then also a whole establishment of villains, and then also a new villain from every past film also in the same prison scene. You know what I mean? Just cartoony, villainy, monstery antics. That's fine. Maybe they're genuinely testing the psychology of if they showcase characters from others of their movies, then people will be intrigued to go and see their other movies. Or it's just self-referential because they've built up a base of great animations. Well, Secret Life of Pets is debatable, but still. Beyond that though, this looks to be just a Minions classic of sorts. It's not overbearing, it's taking things from a fresh start again and making a whole new fun side spin-off base. Even if it's not a spin-off, it's just its named differently. And there have been all sorts of examples in the whole saga of Despicable Me and Minions of great comedic scenes executed brilliantly. With one of the best, of course, being the plane scene from Minions 2, genuinely just great cartoony art. So if that is the notion of where Minions is choosing to go from now on, taking it back to the basics and doing things well, I can't really say I've got any faults in seeing this, other than the fact that it's very clearly a Halloween movie, not releasing in Halloween. Genuinely, a 3-month break between 2 movies coming out that same year by a studio that just does mainline things. It's not like Disney and Pixar as separate entities. That's crazy work that they're running on right now. Does that mean Illumination's gonna win the box office statistics this year? I would assume so. Minions will always be massive, and Mario's pretty big too. Although it is going up against the likes of Avengers and Disney owning every damn branch under the sun. Whatever the case, genuinely, I've only got high praises for this. Apart from the fact that it released midnight on a Sunday for me. What kind of time period is that? Was it meant to be in line with the Super Bowl ads and Super Bowl in general? Fair enough. There's not even a lot of other animated movies for me to talk about this Super Bowl season. That's a real shame. I was hoping to have a whole long list of trailers this week. Instead, there's Mr. Beast ones and AI ones instead. Gotta love the modern day. And the culture war in the center of the halftime show. Them's the times. I think I understand why Minions has gone back to the 1930s. You know what? Maybe that's not such a good idea. And if this movie ends with them addressing / not addressing the icy cave and the fact that it takes them away over 1939 to 1945, hey, that's a great comedic bit we've been saying for them this whole time anyway.
Oh, Chris!
The Minion's name's Chris, is it? Okay. Forget Bob, Kevin, Stuart. It's a prequel franchise getting its own prequel movie. Honestly, I kind of like that. Just do the Ice Age style of just keep going further and further back into world events. It is kind of timeless. Wow, Despicable Me goes forwards and gets more complex and confusing. We could just restart every time we go further back. You know? Cover the woes of World War I. Go back to the Victorian period. The first train. The Wild West. You know? Take us back to the medieval era. The Tudors. The Black Death and plagues, you know? Take us back to pharaohs and pyramids. I'm surprised I don't recognize the mummy in there, to be honest. Or even genuinely do like a prehistoric one. There are a lot of options. It's just cartoony goodness. I don't necessarily see major red flags in that. That looks like a Despicable Me 2. Only real red flag is it releases July again. Minions loves to do that. It's clearly a Halloween movie, but that's fine too. But regardless, that's about all I have to say about this trailer. Surprisingly, it looks good. I'm very pro Illumination these days. They've done a lot to merge towards better directions in later years, Despicable Me 4 being the unfortunate blip in the middle. But as seemingly everything else under the sun is getting worse in this world, it's nice to see a studio so starkly anti-AI and genuinely making some great comedy too. Here's to not Minions 3, but Minions and Monsters. I liked what I saw. Nothing much more. For now, my name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts on this movie. Do you see any red flags that maybe I should have mentioned? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more. But otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!